Welcome back into the channel. This is the Fantasy Authority, back again with another video. Today, we're going to be keeping it rolling with another player profile. And today, we're going to be discussing Cam Akers and what you're going to do, brother, when he goes running wild on you in 2021. Well, you should have no problem taking him as a top 12 running back in 2021. Let's go. All right, welcome back in. I appreciate everybody checking it out. Before we do, stop, smash, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Really appreciate everybody checking out the content. We are in the business of winning championships around here, boys and girls, and that is exactly what we are going to do. We are doing another one of our player profiles, and let's start it right now. Shall we? All right, let's just go ahead and jump right into it with Cam Akers. So his 2020 season, was kind of an up and down type of year, right? Really more down than up than anything. But last year, he had 48% of the opportunities, 145 carries, 625 rushing yards, 14 targets, 11 receptions, 123 receiving yards, 3 total touchdowns, 9.3 fantasy points per game, 27 of 8 tackles, 220 yards created, which was 1.43 yards created per touch. Certainly not the efficiency monster that we're all looking for, the one that kind of makes you go from 6 to midnight real quick. Whatever, you're looking at some of these guys from the previous season, that certainly would not fall under Cam Akers. But what he did do in the second half of the season, mainly did right down the stretch and into the playoffs, is why everybody is so optimistic, myself included, on his season. I currently have him ranked as RB11, right there with Jonathan Taylor and Antonio Gibson. I think all three of those guys have top 3 upside, and I think it's all because I think that all of them have the potential to lead their respective backfield. The one positive that Cam Akers has over both those, because there's not a satellite back in this backfield. There's not a Naheem Hines or a J.D. McKissick in this backfield that could possibly steal some pass catching work away from him. So that is also another feather in the Cam Akers cap. But if you look at last year, just kind of really break it down to how the season went, he played weeks 1 and 2, only played 27 total snaps before going down with a rib injury that kind of he was in and out of the lineup, played week 5, missed a little bit more time, came back. And then he got hurt again week 15 with a high ankle sprain, missed week 16. And then also he came back for week 17. But let's look at the weeks that he was healthy. Week 13, he played 63% of the snaps, 21 carries, 72 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Also had 22 receiving yards on 1 reception. Week 14, he had 29 carries, 171 yards, 2 receptions for 23 yards, played 79% of the snaps. Week 15 carries, 63 yards, 61% of the snaps. And then week 17, 21 carries for 34 yards, 4 receptions, 52 yards, 66% of the snaps. And then the wild card, 28 for 131 and 1, 2 receptions, 45 yards, 72% of the snaps. And then in the divisional round, 18 for 90, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 reception for 6 yards, played 96% of the snaps. He really started to take on that kind of Todd Gurley type role last year down the stretch, which is kind of what we were expecting for most of the season. It just didn't happen. Injuries got in his way. But if you kind of look, that's kind of traditionally what Sean McVay wants in his offense. Prior to 2020, from 2017 to 2019, when Todd Gurley was back in that backfield, 48 of 52 games, Todd Gurley played at least 60% of the offensive snaps. So that is really kind of what Sean McVay looks for, and that's really what happened with Cam Akers in the second half of the season. He really took over that backfield. I think the only really surprise was that he wasn't really targeted much in the passing game outside of that Week 16 game where he had 4 for 52. But listen, Cam Akers is a more than capable pass catcher, okay? Playing in college, he had 69 receptions in his college career in 3 seasons. Nice. And he is a more than capable pass catcher. Sean McVay has talked this offseason that he wants to move him all around, put him in the slot, put him on the outside, line him up all over the formation. One other positive head this year, obviously, is the acquisition of Matt Stafford, who is, arguably one of the most underrated quarterbacks every single year, whether it be fantasy or real life football. I think now putting him in this Rams offense, this offense can return to something that we saw in 2018 when this was a top 10 scoring unit. And that is why we should be excited for Cam Akers in 2021. This offense is going to be electric. One of the big knocks last year about why you should stay away from Cam Akers was because everyone was saying how this offensive line was going to be terrible. Joke's on you, because their offensive line was terrific last year, even despite the fact that Andrew Whitworth went out after week 9 with a torn MCL. And, this offensive line really excelled last year. And heading into 2021, nothing's really different. Only changes here is they lost their center, Austin Blythe, but they'll be fine there. They already have the replacement intact there. So this offensive line could be a top 10 unit and an offense that is going to be explosive with Cooper Kupp, with Robert Woods. They added Deshaun Jackson. They have Van Jefferson. Tyler Higbee is still there. And then you have Cam Akers. And so I think Cam Akers is poised to probably handle 60 to 70% of the workload in this backfield. And I think that is why you should be buying into Cam Akers this year, respectively where he's going at his ADP, because these kind of running backs, I think Cam Akers, Antonio Gibson, which you can check out the previous video we did on him, is kind of in the same bucket in the second-year running back, and Jonathan Taylor are all poised to really break out this year. I mean, Jonathan Taylor obviously broke out. Antonio Gibson had a much better season as well. Cam Akers didn't really come on until late in the year and into the playoffs, where he kind of really took over. So, to be honest with you, when you talk about Cam Akers, like, he is definitely one of the guys that I would not be shocked finishes a top 5 running back this year because of the opportunity that stands before him. He is one of the few running backs that you could really say that has or 60% touch upside in him. I think the targets go way up from the 14 that he saw last year. I think you see somewhere in the 60 to 70 target range, I think, is a fair projection for him. Would not be surprised if it was higher than that. So, we want to target running backs who are in great offenses, and this is certainly one of them. This offense very well could be, like I said, a top 10 unit once again. Matt Stafford, this whole entire offense, like I've already talked about, and with one of the best offensive lines in the league, that's why you should be all in on Cam Akers in 2021. Do not be worried to draft him where he's currently going right now. He's going about 108, 109. Some drafts you might get him, early second. If you can come away with your first two picks being Cam Akers, Antonio Gibson, I am perfectly okay with that. Both of those, their upside is immense, and that is exactly what we're looking for, especially with these early down backs. Give me the guys who are going to catch passes. Give me the guy who's going to get all the opportunities and an explosive offense. Check, check, check. Draft Cam Akers. Draft so with confidence. He is another one of these guys, just like Antonio Gibson, who is primed to really break out in a big way this year. And like I said, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for future content. We're going to keep a lot more of these going. I really appreciate everybody checking it out. And until the next one, peace.